Hello, and welcome to my channel. Today's story takes place in Mesa, Arizona. Mesa is home to the Grande ruins, believed to be inhabited as early as 1100 AD. The site has been preserved as a historical site with the National Register. The structures called Hohokam have been the site of many archaeological digs over the years. Pottery and other items have been recovered. Mesa was also home to the Leslie sisters, 15-year-old Cynthia Leslie and 13-year-old Jackie Leslie. I came across this story when I was researching the death of 18-year-old Cynthia Leslie in Toms River, New Jersey. Cynthia in this story also went by Cindy and went missing in 1974, the same year Cindy in New Jersey was murdered. Crazy coincidence, right? The Leslie family had just moved from Page, Arizona to Mesa, Arizona in June of 1974. Page is about 5 hours north of Mesa near the Utah border. They moved into the Desert Sands Mobile Home Park. The girls were two of three daughters and had a brother. Their older sister Linda lived an hour and a half away in Tucson with her husband and two daughters. Albert Leslie, the girl's father, had just been diagnosed with lung cancer, and the family made the move so he could receive more intensive treatment. The girls made friends quickly. They had only lived in Mesa for approximately 6 weeks and already had friends calling their home. Their mother, Irma, said the phone would ring off the hook by friends calling to speak to the girls. July 31st, 1974. Cindy and Jackie were home with their grandmother. Their parents were at a church function that evening. Sometime before 7 p.m., Cindy received a phone call and soon after told her grandma she and Jackie were going to babysit together and they would be home around 1 a.m. They wrote a note to their mother saying they were going to babysit. The girls left their home on foot. That night, Irma slept on the couch waiting for the girls to come home. When the girls hadn't returned home that next morning, which was now August 1st, Irma called the police, but the police said they had to wait 48 hours to file a missing persons report. Around 5 p.m., the afternoon of August 1st, the mother of one of Cindy's friends called Irma and asked her to come over to the house. When Irma arrived, the mother showed her a pair of underwear and asked if they belonged to Cindy. Apparently, the father of Cindy's friend and husband to the mother who called, Irma, said her husband found the underwear lying in the street near the intersection of Baseline and Power Road. The underwear were very distinctive, purple and black lace with words too hot to handle on the front. Irma went home and the underwear were missing from Cindy's drawer. Irma called the police again. At first, the police treated the girls like runaways. Irma told the police the girls would not run away. They were close to their father, and he was in poor health. Irma also said the girls and their father were planning to visit Paige for a couple of days, and the girls were looking forward to it. None of Cindy or Jackie's clothing were missing, and Cindy's glasses and contacts were left behind. When police questioned the father who found the underwear, they learned he and his nephew had seen the girls the night of the July 31st, around 7 p.m., near the intersection of Baseline and Power Roads. That intersection was a 40-minute walk from the Leslie home. I am not sure how busy the area was back then, but here is what it looks like today. Everything I have read about the area says there were ranches and orange groves around that area, and a few places I looked up were developed in the 90s. The father told the police at 4:40 p.m. today, which was August 1st, he and his nephew noticed two guys on motorcycles at the intersection where they had seen the girls the night before. The men were looking at something and holding it in their hands. When the husband drove back through the intersection, the guys were gone, but there was a pair of underwear in the road, and that is when he picked them up and brought them home. Police took the underwear as evidence and submitted it to the crime lab. The police searched the orange groves in the area where the girls were last seen and turned up nothing. They questioned the owner of the orange grove near the intersection. He had been working in the grove the night before and had seen two girls matching the sisters' descriptions get out of a blue Pinto between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. on July 31st. The car drove a short way up baseline, then turned around and picked the girls back up. Another witness who was in the area at the time saw the same thing that the Orange Grove owner saw. The blue Pinto drop off two girls, then pick them back up. Neither of these witnesses knew the girls personally, but the time frame and location fit what the friend's father saw. August 2nd, the crime lab found blood and semen on the underwear. However, it is unclear if the police ever tested anyone to see if they were a match to the stains found on the underwear. Back then, there was no DNA testing. They could only run blood tests, and it was never published whether or not they did test anyone. Days later, Irma found out that the girls were not babysitting and that they were heading to a friend's birthday party that was 3 blocks away. But remember, witnesses saw them further away. People who attended the party were questioned, and police were met with conflicting statements. Some said the girls were at the party, others said the girls were there briefly and left, while others said they never saw the girls. Irma said the phone that used to ring off the hook stopped ringing the day after the girls went missing. She took that to mean someone knew what happened to her daughters, and that's why the calls had stopped. Police questioned owners of blue Pintos and motorcycles in the area, but didn't get any leads. The daughter of the man who found the underwear had been wearing a necklace that looked like one that Irma had purchased for Cindy. When the girl was asked about the necklace, she said Cindy gave it to her. The family told police they were getting an attorney and would no longer be answering any more questions. February 21st, 1975. Albert lost his battle with cancer and passed away, never knowing what happened to his daughters. November 1989. Irma, who was now remarried, attended a conference for missing and exploited children in Phoenix, Arizona. She had never given up hope her daughters would be found. She even reached out to the TV show Unsolved Mysteries to ask if they would do a segment on her missing daughters, but the show turned her down. Irma also disclosed that she believed Cindy was sneaking to see a boy that her father forbid her to see. The boy, who has never been named, was questioned and said he never saw Cindy that night, but admitted he was waiting to meet her, but she never came. Irma said she knew her girls weren't perfect. They were being naughty by sneaking to a party they did not have permission to attend. She said they fell in with the wrong crowd after moving to Mesa. January 1999. It had been just over 24 years since the Leslie sisters went missing. Irma gave an interview to the paper. A painting of Irma and the girls was in the background. Irma told the reporter she has missing flyers that she hands out everywhere she goes. She said she looks for them in every crowd. The police published age-progressed photos of the girls. Cindy didn't always wear her glasses and wasn't wearing them the night of her disappearance, but Irma wanted the photo to include them. Irma still lived in Arizona, but moved closer to the Nevada border where her daughter Linda now lived. October 2002. It was now over 28 years since Irma last saw her daughters. She still held on to some of the girls' belongings, including the written note they left that day. Irma said both her brothers were truck drivers and have searched every state they traveled to. There had been a sighting in El Dorado, Kansas. A waitress resembled one of the girls. Irma traveled to that location, and it turned out it was not one of her daughters. Irma also searched any time she traveled. She had recently done a mass mailing of missing flyers to residents in Mesa, Arizona. It generated 50 calls to the police, but none of the tips generated any new leads. Age progressed photos of the girls were released again. The sisters' photos continued to run in the paper throughout the 2000s. and Irma continued to give interviews to the paper. February 2009, the Maricopa Sheriff Department received a tip that came from out of state. This tip led to the excavation of a backyard of a cottonwood home, but nothing was found. Cottonwood is about an hour north of Mesa. No other details were released. In 2013, Irma told reporters she had consulted a psychic who said the girls were still alive and living in California. Irma searched up and down the California coast. She was still handing out flyers, and once again, the photos were age progressed. In 2017, Irma gave a televised interview to a news crew. She was still holding out hope, but not able to travel so much anymore like she used to. She and her daughter Linda appeared in the news segment and said that the Maricopa County Sheriff Department, which is the county Mesa is in, had contacted them a few years ago to give DNA samples, but nothing has come of it. Names of the people whose house the party was at have never been released, nor has the name of the boy Cindy was in a relationship with. The family who turned over the underwear's names were given, but since they haven't been charged, I won't give those details. However, I have to say that I find their behavior disturbing and have many unanswered questions. Who picks up a pair of underwear from the side of the road, especially a man picking up a pair of women's underwear? Why is the daughter wearing a missing girl's necklace? Irma didn't believe Cindy gave her the necklace. I'm not sure if Irma had called around looking for the girls when they didn't show up, and that is why the family reached out to her. Why would they assume the underwear belonged to Cindy? Is it because the father had seen them near that location the night before? In all of Irma's interviews, she never mentioned if she had called around looking for her daughters, but I imagine she did since the police told her she had to wait 48 hours to file a missing persons report. The girls were known to be out and about often. Even though they lived in Mesa a short time, they had attended other parties in the days leading up to their disappearance, but they always returned home at night. Each time Irma gave an interview, even though the decades had passed, she still wept openly. You could tell she had deep love for her daughters. She said they loved to go water skiing with their father when he was in better health, and they both enjoyed roller skating and bowling. As of 2024, the girls are still missing. The police believe they are victims of a homicide, and anytime a dead body turns up in the area, they check to see if it is a match to either of the sisters. At this time, it is unclear if they still have the underwear and if it has been submitted for further testing as technology has advanced. DNA testing for criminal cases is not free. It's not like the Ancestry DNA testing where it costs a flat fee. Criminal DNA testing can cost anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000, and normally those funds come from a nonprofit organization. I do know from the countless interviews Irma has given that the Maricopa County Sheriff's Department has a backlog of cases of missing persons and unsolved homicides that date back way before the girls were reported missing. This is why Irma spent countless hours over the decades searching for her daughters and doing all the legwork by handing out flyers and asking questions everywhere she went. Police ask anyone who may have information to contact the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office at 602 876 1011 or the Missing Kids Organization at 800 843 5678. I hope this case gets solved soon. Thank you for listening, and I will catch you on the next video.